Hi, I'm Jimmy Shepherd. I hope you're all enjoying the Frew Park videos on YouTube.
Morning again, ladies and gentlemen, and as promised, in this particular YouTube we're going to talk about great results of Geoff's career. So Geoff, let's without further ado launch into your very significant playing career history.
Well, my first professional event really was the Australian Open in 1969, and I had left school a year before that and worked at the bank to save some money, first up, to go travel. So it took a couple of years, 2 or 3 years really, travelling the world in all various small locations to gain some expertise, and finally was doing well enough to get accepted and selected in the Australian Davis Cup team, which was fantastic, something as a young tennis player that you always strive to achieve. So had about 7 years representing Australia in Davis Cup, which was fantastic, one of the highlights of my life. And being in teams with people like John Newcombe and Ken Rosewall and Rod Laver, just to name a few, who were all number ones in the world, was a great opportunity. I guess the other big event, of course, is Wimbledon, the Grand Slams, and didn't have great success at Wimbledon, quarter-finalist in singles, but winning the doubles with another Queenslander was a great thrill. Ross Case from Toowoomba and I were similar ages and grew up playing all the junior tournaments at Milton over the years, and then to have success at Wimbledon was very special. And of course won a couple of major singles events in Australia, the Australian Hardcourt title where I defeated Mel Anderson and Ken Rosewall along the way, and the Australian Indoor Singles. Both big events in their days, so I'm very proud of my career, and in an era where we were competing with the Lavers and the Rosewalls and the Newcombes, it pales in insignificance perhaps, but they were very special players, and I'm very pleased with the career I've had, the friends that I've made, and that's probably as much a part of it as anything else. It's a sport that you can continue playing forever. And I've got wonderful memories from my time as a player with some successes, but notwithstanding that, all the friends that I've made along the way.
Because of your career sort of in that early 70s and through the 80s, it was a real turbulent time in tennis history, wasn't it?
It was, very much so. When I first started, it was really still quasi-amateur. You played the Grand Slams, etc., really for a trophy. And if you wanted to play some of the smaller tournaments, you had to write to the national federations of Italy or France or whatever and say, I'd like to go and play, and I'd like full hospitality, which is accommodation, maybe $100. And then, of course, open tennis came in the 70s, which meant everybody started to play for prize money. And that was really the catalyst for the development, the serious development of the sport as to how we see it today. Prize money grew, the interest grew, the quality of play just became better and better. So in really 30 years, it's gone from a quasi-professional sport to something that now is just first-rate entertainment with athletes that are almost par excellence, and I just love watching what the players these days are doing. So to be around at the beginning of those days, and frankly still being a part, because I'm fortunate enough to do some commentary these days, I feel very privileged, and I just love to see the sport where it is today, having come from reasonably humble beginnings.
Do you think there's much risk in the China market and the India market following on after that of the sacred Grand Slam positioning that the Australian Open has, being under threat from just basically an avalanche of money?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the Australian Open and the other Grand Slams, the other 3 Grand Slams have a lot of history behind them. And there's great growth in China and India, and there are some very big tournaments up in those parts of the world. But the Australian Open has become one of the truly great sporting events of the world, and credit to Tennis Australia in the way that they've continued to upgrade the facility. It's the Grand Slam of Asia Pacific, so they've embraced the Pacific and Asia as part of the event, so they feel part of the event. And it's a wonderful event, and let me tell you, the players love coming out to the Australian Open. They love the atmosphere, the public loves it, the facilities are fantastic, and of course Melbourne Park is so close to the city, which something that players love. So the Grand Slams, they've been there a long time, and I think their current locations are going to stay for many more years to come.
And let's hope that's a very true prediction you're making there. So with that, we'll just conclude on this particular YouTube, but we will be back again. Thank you.
I hope you've been enjoying the YouTubes of Frew Park, Milton over the period of